Hello, everyone. Welcome to this AWS On Air. We've got a really exciting topic right now about cost optimization, different opportunities of being able to get additional help for your business. So we've got the folks here at DoiT International. My name is Jillian Ford, and I am a startup solutions architect. But the real show here is with all the fabulous folks here from DoiT. So let's start with some introductions. Craig.
Yeah, thanks, Jillian. My name's Craig Lowell. I'm a product marketing manager with DoiT, and I'll be talking later today about one specific product, FlexSave, that is my portfolio.
Awesome. Francisco.
Hey, Jillian. My name is Francisco. I'm product manager for Spot Scaling Service here in DoiT, which is based in your AWS Auto Scaling Group service.
Thanks, Francisco. Matan,
Yeah, I'm Matan Bordeaux. I'm another product marketing manager at DoiT. I will be talking about the other product we're featuring, Spot Scaling, later in this presentation.
Excited to see it. Jason.
Hi, Jillian. Very good to meet you. My role here is looking after AWS programs. So I'm head of the AWS programs here and, bringing all of these pieces together. So very good to be here.
And Steve.
Yeah. Hey, Jillian. Thanks for having us today. We're super excited to share a little bit more about DoiT. Obviously, the team has some great demo content we want to share as well. But I lead North America sales. Super happy to be here. Thanks.
Oh, this is so exciting because I know cost optimization is a topic. It doesn't matter if you're a startup that's just starting to build your business or if you're, one of these large enterprises. You're always going to think about what are ways where you can really make sure you're only spending on what's maintaining or growing your business. And I love that you all have thought about this problem in really different ways that you can actually address it to help businesses at different sizes. So I think if you could explain more about what are your perspectives on cost optimization and how you come in to be able to help.
Yeah, I'll jump in there first, Jillian. And definitely, I would say on a daily basis, this is probably one of the most prevalent conversations we're having, especially with startups, no doubt. And, further, I think, accelerated with sort of economic conditions today. But the simple reality is customers want really to the point you made, they want to grow and they want to save money. And those two things really, truly do go hand in hand. And, for those that don't know DoiT, one thing I will share just in terms of how we've built our company from day one is this concept of helping our customers really solve for two, fundamentally basic things that have always been true with the cloud, which is, easy to consume at the lowest cost possible. And so we built, our offering, which is consisting of, really some great technology that we built from the ground up as, really half of our value pillar for customers and the other complementing that with unlimited support and expertise. And when we put those two together and have those conversations with customers around cost optimization, it's not just, what are the buttons that we can hit today? It's also, how do we think about architecture? How do we think about their strategy, their growth plans, where their expertise lies, where ours complements and so forth. And it becomes a really comprehensive discussion. But that is, certainly the most, again, predominant conversation we're having day in and day out.
So I heard the word zero cost. And so now I'm just really intrigued. Can you tell me more about what does that actually mean?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jillian, and definitely, probably the one we get most often working with customers because it's sort of this radically new concept that I think is still, hard for folks to really comprehend. But I just want to take a step back and maybe just explain very quickly sort of our model, and I think it'll help tie it together. But number one, I think, it has to be said that we're incredibly honored to have received Premier Tier status earlier this year, something that we hold near and dear, and we covet sort of that relationship and partnership with AWS and how we work to support customers together. But our personal mantra, you will have seen it if you checked out our website or some of the content that Matan and team have been talking about, is enabling greatness in the cloud. And we take that very serious for our customers with a notion that we want to keep it simple, easy to achieve that outcome. And so we deliver our model really in three ways that I would focus on, which is our proprietary and intelligent technology. That is a huge value driver. It's most of what we've been talking about today. That's complemented with our expert cloud native consultancy. So think about, almost a pro serve style engagement model where you can come to us with the most challenging problems, very proactive, and we'll help customers actually make those, really complex things very simple. And then our unlimited support model provided 24/7, which is submit a ticket, very good response time. By the way, favorite stat, 98.6% CSAT score today. I just checked our dashboard. So very happy customers across those three pillars. And what we find that makes them the most happy is it's all delivered at zero cost. And we do that, fully through how we fund, through the margin we receive as a reseller when we provide that part of the service to customers, how we deliver our SaaS product, a number of different ways, but never a statement of work, never an incremental cost from DoiT, and only, a simple model, happy customers, and as much automation and expertise as we can throw against it.
Wow, that is so cool. I bet you a lot of people are probably like stopping what they're doing now and just like want to go to your website and be like, all right, tell me more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Steve, I love that because that's a really common thing that I see. I bet all of you do, where maybe you have a cost optimization discussion and then you start to realize sort of the reasons why maybe there's a business or maybe you are spending more than maybe you actually really need to is because you've made an architecture decision that and now at this stage isn't actually serving you. And so what I think is great, maybe one of you, Francisco, can kind of dive into is so you not only are able to help customers from a cost optimization point, but also from an architecture point, because the two can really go hand in hand. So maybe can you tell us about, Francisco, about what are some of the different offerings then that you can be able to help customers with their architecture?
Yeah, we're going to see it in the demo about spot scaling, but basically we offer to the customer the option to unlock up to 80% savings by using the spot instances, and we manage the whole process for the customers. We help them with this, and yeah, they can unlock, savings more in the cloud.
And that's actually a great thing that FlexSave, the other product, provides as well, because not only are you getting the cost optimization, but it actually increases the flexibility that you can use, because you'll be able to use on-demand instances as needed, and without having to commit to a year or 3 years worth of usage. You can actually make those changes to your environment as you need to.
So Jillian, just to go back to your question and think about, especially the last part that Craig mentioned as it relates to architecture, we're creating a situation where customers can click the button and take advantage of everything that Francisco and Craig just talked about. But more importantly, they have the flexibility to still test, put stuff up, take it all the way to prod, make architectural decisions on the fly, which, by the way, that's the whole point of cloud, right? And do this stuff without losing that ability to save money, in an automated sort of real-time fashion, and not make decisions today that they're stuck with for the next 3 years. And we find that sort of agility in the way that we can engage with customers and have those discussions allows us to take it, to the nth degree in some cases, right? And really extend what does cost optimization mean in terms of not just pure savings, but big decisions or small decisions alike that we could take today, tomorrow, and the next day to continue and enhance that, not just from a cost perspective, but engineering, sort of DevOps experience, end user experience, and how things kind of go out to market. So it's a really dynamic conversation. We love that with startups, especially because they're still trying to figure out a lot of this stuff, which is, it's just a fun conversation to have.
I think, excuse me. I think one of the elements that we'll cover later in terms of how the support model is, but from a support perspective, in terms of helping our customers understand, there are cost optimization elements that can happen regarding reserved instances and all those sort of things. They're only really applicable once you've done all the rest of the optimization. So once you actually talk to somebody who knows what they're doing, whether that's an AWS solution architect or partner that's actually going to step into that optimization for you, you need to look at all of the things. So how are you using it at the moment? What is your value prop? Where are you getting to? How do you make your revenue? All of those are really important questions to understand that landscape ahead of pressing any buttons to commit or not commit or whatever it may be. So the tooling and the architecture go hand in hand, but it's the architecture and the value prop of the customer of where you're going to and how you're going to get there first. Once you've done all of that and you've drilled really deep into it, have you made the right technology choice? Should you be looking at, microservices, containers, pure lambdas, whatever you want to do with it? However that landscape is working, that's your decision right here, right now. And we will help you sort of make that next decision, which is don't go and buy a load of reserved instances, because your thing is going to change dramatically based on, an architecture that you're going to change. So where we see a lot of customers, starting is, I'm going to go press a reserved instance, buy a load of reserved instances and go, oh, we don't need them anymore. So that's where we come into it in terms of that support. So the support for us isn't just break fix, I've got something broken, help me fix it. It's like, okay, we can help you fix that, but have we asked the question of why that thing is broken? Where are you going to? And those sort of things. So that's where we add a lot of value. And then by using some of the things like spot scaling and flex save as well, they're very easy to use tooling that takes out a lot of the ambiguity, a lot of the fear, uncertainty, doubt, and just enables that element for you to make that decision right here, right now, but without that long-term, oh my goodness, I've got 3 years worth of reserved instances.
Jason, I just love the way that you said that. And so I think that's a huge takeaway for everyone here who's watching. It's like, as you're looking at your AWS bill and thinking about where it is that can I really optimize how I'm using AWS, you want to think holistically, not just savings plans and spot instances, which we're going to get more into in a minute, but really okay, maybe is there an architecture decision, and do I need to talk to someone who can give me that bigger picture advice to be able to save really long-term and scalably. So I think with that, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just absolutely agree. It's one of those fundamentals, and that's why, in terms of at DoiT, we've got seasoned professionals, we've got the battle scars, we've got the books, we've got all of those elements that have led us to this pain, that we know what good looks like and we know what bad looks like. What we don't know is the customer view and where they want to go. So we work really closely with them. So, okay, let's understand what you want to do. What are your aspirational elements? Help you with those. And then that's where you can take that step back and go, okay, technically that particular technology isn't right for you, or we think there would be a better way of doing it. And that could be purely down to scale. Yes, that will scale to 100,000 people, but you want to go to 10 million. That's not going to work. You have to have some sort of transition period to allow you to move that. And if that means that you're going to sort of enable a microservices or a Lambda function or anything else, buying a load of RIs right now really isn't going to help you in the long term.
That was a nugget of wisdom. I bet a lot of people's brains are spinning oh man, I think I need to rethink what I'm building right now. So I think with that, I know Craig was alluding to spot scaling and flex save. And so maybe Matan, if you can just show us a bit more about those two offerings that DoiT has.
Yeah, and I will add that everything Jason described in terms of how we work with customers and the products that we build, it's all available at zero cost, which I think is just a completely radically different business model when it comes to partners. We don't no SOWs, nothing. It's just you pay your cloud bill through us and you get access to all of this, to all the things that we're going to show you and all the things that Jason and Steve and everyone described.
That's a mic drop moment right there. Zero cost.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have led with that, but yeah.
We'll get to that. Don't worry, we'll get to it.
Yeah. So the two technologies we're going to cover today revolve around EC2, compute in general, and specifically the discount mechanisms that AWS offers to customers to help them reduce their compute spend. So spot instances, savings plans, and let's get started. First, why are we building spot scaling? We're finding and we're seeing that our customers are customers that are deploying EC2 instances with autoscaling groups. They're not leveraging spot instances as much as they could be or at all. And as a result, they're leaving savings on the table. And this varies between maybe they have knowledge gaps around AWS spot instances. So maybe how to make your workloads play well with spot instances, the workloads they're best suited for, or knowledge gaps around configuring autoscaling groups to handle and work with pools of spot instances. And maybe they just hear things about the service disruption and they get kind of scared about deploying Spot. And so that's kind of what we're addressing with spot scaling. We make it really easy to deploy, to use Spot instances in your autoscaling groups. What spot scaling does is it manages the instance composition of your autoscaling groups so that you can better adopt spot instances using best practice configurations. And so in this diagram, you see kind of an example before and after when you're using spot scaling. So we're seeing overall compute spend decrease as the usage of spot instances increases. And nice testament on the right-hand side from an actual customer that's seen, that has their own cost graph kind of look like this example on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
you know
let me
what?
just pause one
Yeah.
bit there for a second, because there's probably some people who are like, I didn't know anything about spot instances. What are you talking about? So you'll definitely want to just do your research of like, look in the AWS documentation. There's actually really thorough information of like when to use spot instances and when to not use spot instances on the AWS documentation. And I'll just give a one-liner because I don't have enough time to really go into that in this conversation that we've got today. But I would basically say if it's production, that's where you do not use spot instances. That's where you use like on-demand instances, maybe use reserved instances, savings plans, which we'll get more into. Spot instances are great for anything that's like your dev, staging, batch type of workloads. And yeah, go into more of the documentation. That'll go into that a lot more. But thanks. Keep going.
Yeah, that's the most common use cases. You can use it for web services, big data, testing environment, high performance computing, and image and media rendering. Yep. Yeah, that's all the most common cases. Sure.
I think what I'll do is I'll just jump into the demo. I think the people like seeing demos. What we have here, this is of course sample data. We have 3 auto scaling groups that we're seeing here on the left-hand side. One that is optimized, meaning that it is having its instance composition managed by spot scaling. 2 that aren't. And so I'm going to click into one of them. And what I see here is the current configuration. It's leveraging just one instance type, 100% on demand. What spot scaling is recommending is 80% spot instances, 20% on demand. And of course, the customer can modify any of these recommendations. It's not just hard coded here. They can, increase on-demand base capacity. What we're doing is we're looking at the allowed instance types in the original configuration. We're suggesting additional ones that have similar attributes to the one or to the ones that were part of the original configuration. They can, of course, edit some of these out if they don't want some of these instance types. Once they're satisfied with this, they can click on this Apply Recommendations button. And what you'll see is the current value will now become what our recommendation was. And we also check the box to automatically update the auto-scaling group. And what this means is as new instance types become relevant, we'll add them to the allowed list. And finally, if somehow in the case that you have this many instance types that spot instances are not available at all, we have a fallback to on-demand option right here. So we will revert to using on-demand instances until spot instances are available again. And you can monitor your savings from up here. As the month progresses, you'll be able to monitor your savings as a result of using this. And as you see here, or I guess if you, in a real account, in this demo mode, we don't have current month savings displayed, but you would see those savings numbers populate here. And you'd, of course, see a reduction in your EC2 bill as well.
Important things here that we are seeing in our customers, that they are saving between 50 to 60% compared running the same workloads as on demand, but with a spot.
Wow.
And I will just mention that, we allow to our customers to put the focus on their core business by removing the need to understand and trying how to properly configure their auto-scaling groups with the spot instances. We simplify this process. You saw it. Just with a few clicks, you can start using, start saving with the service.
I'll also say that this relies completely on AWS native services. You use AWS Management Console and APIs the way you've always done. So what that means is there's no additional code or additional libraries to maintain and whatnot. Its infrastructure is code friendly. So if you're using Ansible, Terraform, or CloudFormation, you can control spot scaling by attaching 2 simple tags. And lastly, you keep all of the savings. So there are other tools that do something similar. They charge as a commission a percentage of your savings. We pass on 100% of the savings to our customers.
Yeah, wow. I love the simplicity of this. I think anything that can really help more people to be able to use spot instances when it makes sense, I'm a huge fan of. This is the spot scaling, and then the flex save. Do you want to quickly, we have a few minutes left, so maybe you want to quickly show us how that works?
Yeah, I'll pass it on to Craig for that.
Cool, thanks, Matan. Yeah, so similar to spot instances, managing a complex portfolio of compute commitments can be a real challenge. You have multiple commitments, possibly across multiple clouds. You have to take on the risk of committing to 1 or 3 years of usage. It's very hard to forecast the size and shape of that demand. Which regions are you going to be in? Which machine types are you going to be in? What commitment type? How flexible can those commitments be? So there's all these things that have to go into it. So what FlexSave does is it really aims to simplify all of those different management challenges. When we realized that customers had all these challenges, we realized that this solution that we came up with had to be fully automated. It had to remove the need for a long-term commitment, and it also had to really be enabled quickly, because a lot of our customers are young, growing companies. They don't have time, and they also have a lot of sensitivity around their architecture where they can't go in and make code changes all the time. So this had to be a nice, simple solution that we could create. I'm going to move to
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, actually, I was thinking we could skip this slide anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Was there more that you want to add? I mean, I loved the whole message, so I was just like nodding away.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll do a quick deep dive about how this works, right?
Okay.
So we only need read-only access. So FlexSave does not alter your cloud environment in any way, but it's constantly monitoring that environment to identify on-demand workloads that aren't covered by your existing reserved instances or savings plans or EDPs or any sort of specialized pricing you have. Anything that you already have set up, FlexSave doesn't touch. It only finds workloads that are paying the full on-demand rate, and then it automatically applies discounts to those workloads. So the customer doesn't have to do anything. They just see those savings on the next bill. And unlike spot scaling and some of the other products and services that DoiT provides, FlexSave is actually available as a standalone offering as well. So if you have any limitations with working with resellers such as DoiT, FlexSave is still actually available to you as a standalone offering.
Oh, that's awesome. And so I think, wow, we definitely covered a lot, and I think we did a great job you did a great job, really, of piquing people's interest, I think, on, I guess, spot scaling, FlexSave, really ways that they can get help, cost optimize. So maybe, like, where should people go if they want to learn more, they want to be able to self-service, utilize any of these tools?
Yeah, well, first of all, again, Jillian, thanks again for having us. We've had a blast. Hopefully people found this valuable. But yes, self-service options is definitely, sort of our vision for customers, make it as simple as possible. So I highly encourage everyone to go check out some of the recent things we've launched in AWS Marketplace. We'll continue to put more there. So hopefully that'll be a nice, easy way for folks to get in contact, check things out. But we'd love to have a conversation. So reach out to us through our website, or if you happen to be going to reInvent, we are a proud sponsor, and hopefully we will see you at our booth. So come check us out. We're booth number 847. We're going to have a lot of fun. So thank you.
Oh, that is fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. And stick around for the next segment of AWS On Air.